Right, good evening everybody. Welcome to another video. Now, I had something interesting come up at work today. I didn't have time to video it, but what I have done is taken some pictures, stills and some little clips, and oh, there goes my email, and pasted them together into a little slideshow for you. Now, what I needed to do was to make a device or a little former to make a bead on a piece of 1 and 3/4 diameter stainless tube, pipe tube. What I found was an old wheel bearing here. Now I've marked the inner and outer parts of the bearing onto a piece of 1/2" steel plate, and I've just pierced it with a drill hole because the limit of my plasma cutter is about 1/2 inch, is a little pound max 30. So I pre-pierced it with a drill hole there. All I've got to do for what I want is to cut anywhere between those two marks. So I found a little guide, which is an old bearing cup, and run a plasma cutter around it. Okay, and then I've taken the outer bit, chucked it up in the lathe, just cleaned up the middle a little bit of the file, chucked it up in the lathe, and I've started to clean up there. Okay, I'm cutting out a quick clip of the tool I'm using, which is a holder that holds a CNMG type insert, but with the wide corner, if you like, the one you don't normally use for the cutting edge. So it's good for roughing, it's good for interrupted cuts, it's a bit more robust on that corner, and you don't feel so bad about doing interrupted cuts with the inserts because you probably already used up 4 of the cutting faces, on something else. It's kind of, it gets the last bit out of your CNMG inserts, so that's a good little tool. Now moving on, what I did next was to pop it into the 4-jaw and just true it up, because I wanted the inner to be reasonably concentric with the outer. Bored the inner diameter to accept the bearing, using my ice car tool, which also holds a nice little insert. Always gives a good finish, that tool. I think maybe it's the negative rake, works quite well on most steels. You can see my finish pass there, and that's ready to accept the bearing. Now I just put it on the 3-jaw chuck and machined the groove, the form that I want in the outer part of it there, and that's to take the bead in the pipe when it's eventually formed. Okay, moving on quickly, this is the center plug that I cut out with the plasma cutter, the bit that was left over, if you like. I've just welded that onto a piece of bar stock, grabbed it in the 4-jaw, and I'm cleaning that up. Now that presses into the middle of the bearing there. You can see a bit of pressy action there, and in a moment you'll see what I've ended up with and how it works, and well, I hope it does work. Okay, I'll quickly show you what I've ended up with here. That's my center part, that's the old wheel bearing, this is the outer part that I machined earlier, and that's in the lathe tool post, and nice and free to rotate there. And the center bit that I've machined is here. Can you see that? Yeah, better. And when we bring the two things together, the light underneath, I'll show up better. When we bring the two things together, we just got a little clearance in there for the material. Now I'm hoping that might work. Let's just see. Okay, see when I rotate the lathe just by hand, we've managed to create a bulb in the tube, which was the object of the exercise, so I'm happy with that. I am noticing a couple of issues. I should have made more land at the edges here. It's necking, narrowing the tube very slightly there. But what I'm going to do is, let's just back that away for a second. What I'm going to do is reduce the diameter of this, because I noticed on a machine that I've got that was bought for this purpose, this pin is a much smaller diameter than the tube. I've just got a feeling it'll work better, it'll imprint the tube better from the inside if it's a smaller diameter. This is a nice large diameter and free to roll. So anyway, it's sort of working. I'm pretty pleased with the result. Bearing in mind what I was trying to replicate, I'll just give you a shot of what I was trying to replicate. Alright, stand up. This part here is, you can see, completely failed. That's what we've got to replace, probably by welding a new bit in here somewhere. And that's side by side there. That's what we've produced. So we're getting close. And thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I'll try and keep it, you know, sort of interesting. If you like this kind of thing, enjoy. Thank you very much. Good night.